States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll tell you, I've got my notes.
The prayer today is, Father, thank you for the truth is living in us. Help me relate to the truth living in you, and may my lifestyle be consistent with the truth. Amen.
Okay, on July 17th, from the Department on Aging, I rescinded the motion from July 10th, 2023 that read to approve hiring Christina Cunningham in the position of full-time recreation and education assistant effective July 31st, 2023 at the rate of $16.35 per hour with a one-year probationary period. This offer of employment is contingent upon the successful completion of the required pre-employment conditions. Ms. Cunningham decided she was not able to take the job. Also on July 17th, for liquor license, I concurred with Clarendon Township trustees in not requesting a hearing on the liquor license being requested by S&L Fuel LLC located at 12797 Mayfield Road, Unit A, Chardon, Ohio. And the Department of Water Resources approved and executed the service contract agreement with Gilmore Security Systems Incorporated to perform maintenance services and installation of all fire and burglar alarm systems in Water District section within the department for a period of 1 year, effective July 17, 2023, and an amount not to exceed $5,000. And I approved an executed service contract agreement with Gilmore Security Systems Incorporated to perform maintenance services and installation of all fire and burglar alarm systems in the wastewater section within the department for a period of 1 year, effective July 17, 2023, and an amount not to exceed $5,000.
Could we have a copy of what you just read?
Yes. Did you have any other questions?
No.
Okay. All right. So what we've got here is also the approval of minutes for May 23rd and June 1st. If I can get a motion?
So moved. Second.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Good morning, Debbie.
Good morning.
There's that. All right.
I have appropriations transfers to the sheriff for miscellaneous refunds, reimbursements, and web checks that were deposited into the general fund. Appropriation transfers for Jack Bass to support continued contract services, phone services, and foster parent recruitment. Supplemental appropriation for water resources to make debt payments for Chagrin Falls water construction. Chagrin Falls Park water construction. I have a cash transfer from the general fund to public assistance for our July through September 2023 mandated share. I have a lot of travel requests. 2 travel requests from ADP to attend the Microsoft 365 Education Conference. Travel request from Common Pleas to attend the 2023 Ohio Judicial Conference. 1 from Common Pleas Drug Court to attend the All Rise Conference. 1 from the Engineer's Office to attend the CEAO Ohio Bridge Conference. 1 from the Public Defender's Office to attend the Ohio Public Defender Trial School. And then and now from Water Resources for the cyber incident ADP hours. 2 vouchers, $104,105 from the Commissioner's Office to the Ravenwood Mental Health Center for 3rd quarter youth center operations. And $46,358 from the Commissioner's Office to the Lake Geauga Recovery Centers for support of the jail treatment program. One, revenue certification for the Common Police Court Technology Fund for salaries, Medicare, insurance, and orders.
Kathleen, if I could just ask you, so on that Chagrin Falls water project, that's the water construction, that's going to be, what's the scope of that project?
That project is long over, but we paid debt payments out of
Okay.
that. We
So I was
found
going
that
to say,
we,
if you've been done with that. for-
right, we have cash equity in that construction fund that we were told we are not allowed to transfer to the
Okay.
debt payment fund. So we were advised to create a principal and interest account line in the actual construction fund, and we would be paying debt payments directly out of that fund.
Okay,
We were told that's what the state auditor advises.
okay, sounds good. Are there any other questions, or do we have a motion for that?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Doug.
Thanks, Dave.
Yeah.
See you tomorrow night, maybe we can.
Shane?
You remember, right?
Got a few items on the agenda today.
It should be interesting.
Item number 5 and 6 are together. A couple weeks ago, we came to the board for change order, final change order for the Washington Street Bridge. And due to some complications with the invoicing with the contractor, we are asking to rescind that change order and amend it to item 6. So I'll read 5 and 6 back to back, if that's okay. Item 5, Engineer's Office requesting the board rescind the motion from July 6th that read, approve and execute change order number 1, increasing the contract with Woodford Excavating for the replacement of the Washington Street Bridge in Auburn Township in the amount of $13,110.95. And item 6, the Engineer's Office is requesting the board approve and execute change order number 1, revised and final, increasing the contract with Woodford Excavating for the replacement of Washington Street Bridge, structure BR 0606F-05.31-2023 in Auburn Township for the amount of $16,605.35.
So moved.
Second.
Yes.
Yes.
Item number 7, the Engineer's Office is requesting the board approve and execute the unit price contract with Aeromark Company for the application of polyester pavement markings to various roads in Geauga County for the year 2023 in the amount of $274,776.00.
So moved.
Second. With a question. Is their prices about staying the same or up 3% from last year?
They're up a little bit. They're actually probably down a little bit from last year. Because last year was pretty much a peak for all contracted work that we did. But they are higher than 2021.
Okay.
So they're still at an elevated level, but not quite as much as last year.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Item number 8, similar to 7, the County Engineer's Office requesting the board approve and execute the unit price contract with Ryan Paving Incorporated for the asphalt resurfacing of Brakeman Road, County Highway 22, Section A, in Hamden Township in the amount of $578,165.
So moved.
Second.
Yes.
Yes.
And similarly, the item number 9, County Engineer's Office is requesting the board approve and execute unit price contract with Running Paving Incorporated for the asphalt resurfacing of Mumford Road, County Highway 24, sections A through D in Troy Township in the amount of $467,785.00.
Motion.
Second.
Aye.
Yes.
And the final item today, item number 10, the Engineer's Office is requesting the board approve and execute, or approve the plans for the Robinson Road Bridge replacement structures 076-01.88 in Chardon Township, and further execute the cover sheet of the plans for the same.
So moved.
Second.
Aye.
Yes.
you,
All
gentlemen.
right, have a good day.
Ma'am?
Thanks, Shane.
Morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
This is from this morning.
That we left those on the table this morning.
Yeah, I didn't see these in our packet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I left this morning just so you guys had something to work off of. The 2024 projections, which is two separate pie charts, are just estimates, obviously, because obviously we took the change to the for sale property program recently, and the new operation maintenance program that has to be in place for state requirements. That's an unfunded mandate, so there's a lot of what ifs in the 2024 budget when it comes to what those revenues and expenses are expected to be. The operation maintenance program will be the largest program at the health department by far. It's an unfunded mandate by the state, we have to do it. We started rolling that out, but it's a monstrosity of a program. And then I included, which is already on our website, the 2022 annual report, which is a staple document. And that's just so you can compare actuals. You know, budgets are nice, but actuals sometimes are a little easier to follow, so you know they're already done. And the second to last page on there just kind of gives you a breakdown of the similar pie charts just from the prior year with the actuals. So I just gave those two for consideration. We're just looking to do a renewal levy, not a replacement, not an addition. Some of the cost-saving measures the Board of Health put in place, we don't feel like we would need to go for a increased levy, just go for the same renewal we've had since a little before 2009. So that's the request we're making now, is that certificate of need before you today.
So what is the budget?
The budget is right around $3 million, depending on what the expectations are for operation and maintenance. It's between like 2.5 and 3 is where we tend to fluctuate at. Obviously, the majority of revenue, as you see, comes in from the inspection fees and permit fees, which is over $1 million expected. And that is the operation and maintenance program, previously the for sale property program. And then the primary expenses are going to be the other expenses and the contract services. Which contract services include both legal fees and the contract with Lake County that save the money on the front end. So that's kind of the breakdown of that.
So where's so obviously the salaries will go way down, right?
Yeah, right now, the chart, the two independent sheets that are not stapled, the second one, or the one that has the least amount of writing on it, which is expenses. Contract services is that gray line.
I'm not following you.
Sorry, this one right here.
Oh, that?
Yeah, that one. So yeah, the non-staple one.
Yeah.
That has contract services at $1.5 million. That includes legal fees and the contract with Lake.
Okay.
And then salary fringes are the blue and the orange slice, that square, the brighter blue and at the top.
The fringe.
Yeah, so that went significantly down. That used to be about the size of the gray chart, or the gray part of the pie chart, sorry.
Okay, so how much are you roughly saving in salaries from?
The expected savings is somewhere between $350,000 and $600,000. Obviously depends on the fringes that are allocated. There's also, with the operation and maintenance program, there's expectations that we'll have to increase staffing for that program, but the revenue will offset it. But it will look different than what it did before because that increased that program.
Mhm. And then the collected levy amount for this amount, how much is that?
That's about $564,000, and then also the real estate, which is that orange slice. This one.
The permits?
The real estate. Sorry, there's
the real
different colored oranges.
Yep.
The real estate is $75,000.
Oh.
That's the homestead rollback. So that's the amount that the state chips in to our levy. We have a qualified levy.
Okay, so roughly you're like pushing 600 with those two?
Yeah, give or take. It fluctuates there, but it's around 550 to 600 depending on the year and the collections,
Okay.
based on the 2009 rates that it was attributed to.
So you told me it's roughly between $350,000 and $600,000 in savings with salaries.
Correct.
And this levy's roughly around $600,000.
Correct, yeah. Yeah, we were expecting to be, expenses were expected to exceed revenues,
Okay.
starting in '23 and '24. And then with the cost saving measures the board put in place, we'll be about break even or a little bit positive depending on how things flux out and how fast operation and maintenance gets up and running. That's honestly the biggest linchpin, is how fast operation goes up and running, operation and maintenance, because for sale property is done. So that's a optional program now. When that went optional, that was a significant hit to the revenue side of the budget. And then the other revenue, the offset operation maintenance, takes a while to kick off. So we're only looking to roll out NPDES systems, which is about 2,000 systems out of the 40,000 in the county for the first 2 years, so pretty much this year and next year. And then in 2025, we'll start doing the other systems in an allocation method based on location and territory, and then we'll go from there. But it's gonna take 2 to 3 years for that revenue to be replaced realistically.
So with the, let's say called the in-house expenses going down, the contract services should go up.
Yeah, yeah, so the on that one page I held up earlier, if you look at this before, so if you look at in the stapled one, that second to last page, you'll see it's pretty much an offset. So in this one, on the expense side, salary and fringes was the huge pie chart on there, the larger part of the pie chart, sorry. So it kind of just offsets itself, where now it says contract services, and before it said salary fringe.
I'm sorry, say that one again?
So on this one, the stapled one,
Yeah.
this green part down here,
Yeah.
that is the salary line, and the
Okay.
fringes are the salary and fringes. And then on this one, the single one for 2024, that's the gray area. So it pretty much just offsets itself. They're almost mirror images.
Okay. So is this actual?
Yeah, that's actual from 2022.
Okay.
I thought it'd be helpful if you guys have actual numbers, not just a bunch of theoreticals.
Mhm.
And in the health
You
department.
know, I'll just say like, you know, I'm happy to discuss this,
Yeah.
but it would be helpful if we got this prior to this meeting, so we could
Okay.
review this, so when I come in here, I have a better understanding of what we're gonna get ready to approve or not approve.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So the, I guess, so is it somewhat of a break-even wash, or are we gonna be actually saving money by transferring to Lake County?
We did save money by doing that transfer.
Yeah.
Or the contracting out, similar to Lake Tran and Dutch Transit. There's a cost savings there. The levy though is still $500,000 to $600,000 in income, and that's still what the health department relies on, no matter how they would
No matter
operate.
what.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just,
Yeah.
there's either tax assessments, which are where the townships, villages, and cities pay, or there's a levy in general. You don't really have both, and you have one or the other. In this case, since 2009 or so, we had the levy. Before that, we had a tax assessment where all the townships, villages, and cities paid a percentage, or allocation amount, based on what that was.
How many optional situations do you guys get into, like if a bank requires point of sales? I know it's went that way down, but once in a while you get that, where you have to go out and check the septic tank and everything else. Because usually the bank wants 1.5 or 2.5 times the cost of a new septic system held in escrow. So how often do you see that now since?
Very little. We're not seeing almost any for sale properties at all anymore. They still exist once in a while, and I mean, I still promote them. If somebody would like to have that peace of mind, we're glad to do it. But given the cost, a lot just not to do it.
What is the cost of that?
It's like 300 and something now. We reduced the cost. It was 480 before. It's down to like, I want to say 350 off the top of my head. There's some other fees broken into that, depending on how you do it. So if we go back and sample more than once because it wasn't available, there's other fees that could be involved, but on average about 350.
Okay, thanks.
Just introduce myself, Ryan Graham, Health Commissioner for Geauga Public Health. Have a pleasure to meet you, and thank you for all the support. I know it was a big leap, it was a big move for the Board of Health. With houses, we see a lot of times that point of inspection could have been kind of a deal breaker sometimes for real estate. Where now with the options here for the public, it's cheaper, and it doesn't maybe sour the deals that could have happened because of large escrows. And we really want to make sure we remain independent from the state. Part of this was keeping local control within Lake Geauga and Ashtabula areas, primarily just because we're so different in Summit County, we're different in Cuyahoga County. Within the triad, we're certainly different county-wise, but it's about sustainability. We say most of our money, the 350 is administrative positions that we could streamline and help. And so we've not only savings of dollars on potential down to our software costs and staffing. We're a bigger agency now, working together where we need better applicants at a very competitive wage. I truly want to thank all the commissioners for their support. It was a leap of faith, and I think we're setting the state model up. Because every time I talk to them, they're interested in what we're doing and how we did it. So I just want to thank you, and feel free to contact me anytime.
So since there's no more point of sales mandated, it's for the residents, it's like buyer beware. So you know, the real estate agents have to step up to the plate, really represent their clients so that they're protected about the septic tank issues.
Yeah, I would say the operation and maintenance program, first of all, insurance back in place, because they know that we came to this tax, and the education provided to the homeowner, they have a little bit more control, we have some of the oversight for contractors and actually the contracts going out. So they don't really lose anything if they want to have that, but it does take, staying digital with the property. But now that we've got a record, and that's one of the flaws was there, was the record for as great as they could have been for the homeowner. And I think it'll be greatly enhanced through this program as it rolls out.
Speaking of inspection fees, where are we at with the collection of the inspection fees for business owners that was going on where the inspections weren't being done?
Yeah, so the board approved an appropriations change that goes before the budget commission, and then once that happens, we have a contract ready to go that gets signed, and we'll start paying those out. It is gonna be a significant impact to the cash carryover that the Board of Health has. It's about $1 million, $979,000 I wanna say, and the contract to do that's about $10,000 to $12,000. And then we have to plan for additional $4,000 or $5,000 to make them up based on, maybe someone's mailing address is wrong, they're not that address anymore, we have to remail it somewhere else.
Right.
Or a property lookup, which is an option.
How are they gonna, I mean, obviously you're not gonna be able to do that in one chunk, are you? Or are you gonna do it like installment? Where's that money gonna come from?
Yeah, it's coming out of our cash carryover, so it's the full, we have $1 million in reserves, and sorry, I know, not really reserves, but cash carryovers. That money will be used from those dollars, and it'll draw it out of the general fund. Sorry, we're actually.
So you have a $1 million carryover?
Yeah, there's money that's in reserves for different things,
Okay.
or, I mean, cash carryover, but.
But you're able to reallocate?
Yeah, that we can reallocate to elsewhere.
Likely.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, that, I mean, I would imagine there's quite a few business owners in this county that have been paying that for years and years, decades probably. You're just assuming they're
Right,
getting
inspection.
inspected, so I'm sure that's a pretty big chunk of change there.
Yeah, we've had a couple reach out to us, we told them, obviously we're going through the process, the board has to, it's a huge appropriation.
Were any of them getting inspected?
There were some, but it seemed like mostly it was either a new construction that had that coming in, or it was, they were modifying the system in some way, so we had to go out anyways, and so it got done at that point.
Yeah, like 2021, 22 was pretty clean after that. Prior to that was pretty hard to find much bidding.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
No, I appreciate it. Are you able to provide me with the budget breakdown? Do you have that?
I can
Can
get
you
it,
send
yeah.
it, email it to me?
Yeah,
Just curious.
Christine and Jerry have sent it to you.
Yeah, great.
We'd be happy to meet together if we need to.
Yeah, just so I got something that
Yeah.
gauges.
Yeah, I apologize, hoping to get out a little bit earlier, we had a Legionnaires case that came up on Thursday and Friday that we were working on until yesterday with the Ohio Department of Health. So that was, quite the
really?
endeavor, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, we don't, I've only seen one that was in Lake County, 5 years ago,
Yeah.
something like that, 17, 18. And we had one come up here inside the county, and so we've been dealing with that.
Really?
Yeah, because they only get 2 or 3 days to make the corrections of filters, water changes. It's a very tight timeline for the business. So we've been working with them almost the entire weekend to get stuff done, so they passed. And they satisfactorily presented everything to Ohio Department of Health yesterday, this morning, so.
Because if we just like pneumonia, typical pneumonia, you have to go back and look at things that may have been missed by a caregiver or guardian, physician, something like that. So,
Yeah, sure.
Sprawl, you would hope.
It's expensive too. It's not cheap to replace filters, do all the testing, yeah. It's expensive.
Haven't heard that one in a while.
No, it was, it was not what we expected,
No.
Thursday, Friday, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So we started handling that immediately.
Okay. Yeah, that's it. For me.
Additional questions?
So item number 11 is step 1
Yeah.
in the process.
Okay.
Well,
This
so-
is just-
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
This is just the request for, to send the auditor for that certificate
Yep.
of estimated tax rate.
Okay, do you want to read 11?
The Geauga Public Health is requesting the board approve and execute resolution 23-125, certificate of need as authorized by ORC 575.13.191.221.25 and 0.26. This request is for renewal of an existing 2/10 water mill levy for 5 years.
So moved. Second.
Commissioner Lund?
Yes.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Great, thanks, guys. I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Trust your support. Thank you.
All right. Morning.
Good morning.
Oh,
I saw it on the agenda.
me neither.
So there was,
So what happened is, following public health working on their levy resolutions, there's a change to the House bill that changed the process that you're seeing this year. And the resolution that we were working on for mental health, we sent to Health Department, APA, from one APA to the other, and going back and forth and looking at them following your meeting on Tuesday. There was 2 corrections that were made by the Health APA to the Mental Health APA's resolution in conjunction with the auditor's office. So all we're doing today is an amended resolution for that second step for mental health. And it is left in the resolution denoted, it is literally 2 words. The word going from valuation to value, and the year was changed.
Okay, and that was reviewed by council and
Yes.
auditor's office, so all good?
Oh, yes.
Okay. I will make the motion on item 12.
Second?
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier? Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Morning, Glenn.
Morning. Morning, Jim.
Hey, Glenn, how are you?
Pretty good, yourself?
Good.
This is just go out the bid out with a lot of things changing, more equipment and everything. It goes over to 50,000, so I have to go out the bid for a lot more things now.
Okay. So this is for the heating and cooling?
This is for the jail.
Yeah.
It's under a different funding,
Okay.
so I'm trying to break our HVAC down into 3 groups. So basically the hillside and then down here and then the safety center.
Okay.
So there's gonna be a lot more, we're working on specs and everything right now on a lot of this stuff, so.
Okay, very good. I'll make the motion on item 13.
Second?
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Thank you.
Thank you.
thanks.
Good morning.
Kathy.
Good morning.
Sorry.
You're good.
How's it going?
Good. I'm here to do just a little housekeeping. So we have a accounting forms authorization form and a payroll authorization form. Appreciate you approving and signing on, just removing our exiting director. And actually, we didn't add any names because everyone that's on it still works here and is still going to be included on those forms.
Okay. Make a motion?
Second?
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
The next item is for the payment number 29 to Don Lee's independence for this building, so GMP number 1 and number 2, the amount of $114,605.90.
Okay, so move.
Second?
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Good morning.
Good morning.
We're here today because the county has been a part of the CCAO Bureau of Workers' Compensation Group Retrospective Rating Program, which is doing very well. And we have again been invited to be a part of that. We remain eligible. So here today is the expert on that, and this is Todd Kesrich, as we all know and have seen him over the years, the Assistant Vice President of Client Services for Sedgwick, who is our TPA for the Group Retrospective Rating Program. So he's just going to give us an update of the program and how it's working for the county.
So the 2 items I handed you, I'm going to take a look at the stapled copy first. So that's an executive summary. And it is a 6-year look back on how the county's program has worked with rural workers' comp. And I think if you take a look at it, I'm not going to spend a lot of time looking at individual numbers, but everything is pretty much driven by, claims that occur, and not just the number of claims, but the severity of them really comes into play. And we had, in recent history, some bumps in the road on a couple of severe claims. Those claims kind of remain in your experience, for about a 5-year look back, 6-year look back. So we are past that, and we're starting to see some really beneficial numbers, which translate into lower premiums that you're paying to the Bureau of Workers' Comp. So the frequency has come down, the severity has come down, and all of that is translating into better rates for the county. So the rates are basically established by the Bureau, and if you're at a 1.0, you're exactly where the Bureau expects you to be. If you're above that, you're penalty rated, your premiums get increased. If you're below that, then you get a discount. So we have now moved into a discounted rate for 2023, and we're also projecting that to continue for 2024 as we start moving forward. So the second document is,
Excuse me. Oh, Jerry, is that microphone working? Separation.
Yes. No, it's on.
There's a button on top.
Does it say turn it on before?
Yeah.
do I need to talk a little louder?
Just go.
Okay. I've been told that before.
Right. You're not at home, you can yell.
Yeah, well. I'll definitely.
Taped it in here, so.
Do you need me to repeat anything? Yes? Okay.
No.
I just noticed that there.
All right, well,
It's on full volume, so I don't know what's going on.
we'll just speak a little louder, huh?
I can shout.
Right.
A little shot to the ribs works great.
Maybe it'll kick in.
Okay.
Now it's not stuck in there anymore. You're tasting that whole Jerry.
Give it a good push. I think it'll work.
Try it.
We'll fix it later.
I don't know. No, it's not working.
Move on.
All right, moving on. So the county historically has been involved with a group retrospective rating program, which is just a quick summary, is a program where a group of counties are basically evaluated on an annual basis. All their numbers are kind of lumped into one pot. And if everything works out well at the end of the program, which is a 4-year look back, then there's going to be premiums that are refunded by the Bureau to all of the counties in the program. So that program has been in existence since 2010. Geauga County has participated ever since. And I went back on this document, and on the top I kind of highlighted that rating, which is the EMR, which shows that you've gone from a 1.16, peaked at 1.24, and are now below that 1.0. And then below that, I gave you the history of how that program has worked out for Geauga County. And the refunds are all the way on the left-hand column. And if you take a look, there's been refunds every single year. There is always the risk that the program could potentially result in an assessment. If the program does not work out as planned, then instead of getting refunds back on your premiums, there's the potential that there could be an assessment that you have to pay additional premiums to the Bureau. So it's important to understand that and know that. It's never happened in the history of the program so far. And if you take a look at everything through 2021, it's a 3-year, 3 consecutive years that the program is evaluated for each policy year. So in 2021, we've only hit one of those evaluation years, so I only included that first period in there. But at the bottom, you can see how I highlighted and made it a little bigger. The total refunds since 2010 are over $1.4 million of premiums that you've been received back from the Bureau. I think it's also interesting to take a look at the premium history, which is in the center column, to take a look at, how that premium has kind of, started off at a very high level in 2010, and it's kind of ratcheted down. You'll see in 2018, 19, those are the years where we hit those bumps in the road on those older claims, and now we're starting to head in a much better direction on the premium history.
Absolutely.
And the no refunds are the years that we got our full premium back, is that correct, Todd?
Yeah, so in 2018 and 19, as the Bureau, they had their Billion Back program where they've had, a surplus of money, and they gave all employers in the state 100% of their premiums back that they paid in 2018 and 19. So the Bureau did not give any additional premiums over and above that as part of the group retrospective rating program. Thank you. So,
And then the reason that the payroll is listed there and how that correlates to the premium history?
yeah, so the payroll, so the premium is driven by payroll and the rate. So one thing that's been happening over the years is obviously your rate is fluctuating based on that evaluation of are you over, at, or below 1%. But there's rates that the Bureau sets on an annual basis to determine what the base rate is. So if you hit that 1.0, every county is assigned the same base rate for your blended rate for your employees.
Right.
The Bureau has done a very good job over the years of reducing those rates. So part of the reasons why your premiums are going down is reflective on the rate that the Bureau's been setting and reducing over the years, and the better rate or the fluctuation in the rate that you had. So I thought it would be interesting to see if your payroll also fluctuated to match the premiums, and it doesn't necessarily match, which I think helps paint the picture of it's not just payroll, but it's also trying to control the costs
That's right.
that go into that.
Yeah, because the payrolls held pretty steady since 2010. I mean, there's been a couple little blurps in there, but overall, over a 13-year period, it hasn't gone, you see 2010, it was 37 million, and in 2023, it's 38.
Yeah, I wasn't initially going to put it in there. It interested me.
Yeah.
I thought it might interest you as well.
Not a huge, I would have expected to see that incrementally be going up here, over the time period. But
yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. I agree.
And even through the COVID years, kind of
Right,
steady too.
right.
Okay. Interesting how those numbers play out.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic program for Geauga County and all the other counties.
Absolutely.
I remember when there were just a few of us in it initially, and here we are at 56 other counties that
Is that
jumped on board.
56 now?
Yeah.
Have you had any new additions recently, or are you going to, is it capped at all? I know you were talking about bringing in other, maybe it was separate.
So it has to be, counties have to be lumped together. So
Yeah.
you can't pull any other type of employers. There's also a group rating program, which was pretty much the option that was available prior to this, and Geauga County had participated in that as well. There's different parameters on who qualifies for each program, but there are still some counties that are participating in the group rating program, which is an upfront discount versus a retrospective look back. So you see some movement back and forth, but for the most part, it's been a pretty stable group that has participated within the last few years. It was, in 2010 when the program first came out, I've been involved with it since then. You didn't know what was going to happen 3-4 years down the road. It was a brand new program. We thought we knew what was going to happen, and it was a little bit warm, not just within the county group, but statewide. And then, the interesting thing about it was after that 2010 year, you had to decide whether you wanted to get in again for 2011. We had zero data on 2010. So we're trying to, again, get people in, employers interested in a program that we didn't have a lot of data to back up what we thought was going to happen.
Yeah, the The model's proved out so far. Yeah, yeah.
And most of your counties that are involved with this group, are they under 150,000 in population?
I would have to say that the, probably, I don't know the population numbers, but some of the larger counties are participating in other programs. There's something called individual retro, which is kind of like a quasi self-insurance, where you take on dollar for dollar liability for a 10-year period. So some of the larger counties are participating in that. There are a couple of counties, I think, as a matter of fact, I think Lake County went self-insured.
Yeah.
So they're not in the state fund, so they don't qualify for this program either. Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see what their experience is like.
Yeah, they went self-insured a very long time ago. They jumped into that. They're probably one of the first public employers that I could think of that jumped into that program.
Keep your fingers crossed, right?
Yeah, and honestly, we look at that option for Geauga County every year. I mean, we look at everything that's on the table, but there's a lot of liability that goes along with, that, and we're getting such good results, and, the Bureau giving back that money over the past years. A lot of employers have basically stepped away from even considering that because they didn't want to give up those $1 billion back monies.
Yeah, it's been a great partnership for sure.
Definitely.
Okay, so that brings us into 17 is authorizing the president to execute the 2024 Geauga County Commissioners Association Constitution Group retrospective rating plan agreement and the Bureau's working compensation employer statement group retrospective rating program between Geauga County Board of Commissioners and the CCAO Service Corporation. If we have a motion on that.
Okay, I'll make the motion. Second. Yes.
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 Very good. Thanks for coming in. Good to see you again.
It's a beautiful drive.
Yeah.
Thanks, Commissioner.
Thank you very much.
He loves to be open too.
Kyle, where are you located?
My office, our main office is down in Dublin, Ohio. My office is on Rockside Road,
Okay.
and I live in Northfield, Ohio.
Gotcha. Okay. Great. Where'd you go? Thank you very much.
And there's 3.
Something else you
The piece of paper that I put in front of you, Adam brought in, there's one for each of you.
Oh, this is the,
Breakdown of
That's the
the-
total.
oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
This week, you approved the execution of the addendum to the interagency treaty agreement. It got missed by being signed by all of you, so I'm sending it back down the table again. And Laura signed off on it yesterday.
Okay.
Okay. So we have order revisions is going on throughout the week. Linda is at the meeting today. Commissioners will hold our meeting next week again at 9:30 on the 25th. Other than that, is there any questions? Yes, sir.
Chris Lucia, Full Village. I'm wondering if the board has any plans to make public comment, a formal policy, something that's going to be on the agenda every week. As your policy, you don't have to answer that right now. And I would like to take this opportunity to remind the board that you guys do have a seat on Health District Advisory Council. We started meeting quarterly. Our next meeting is September 13th. And Adam and Ron make themselves available to that. So those of us that made the last one, everybody walked away feeling pretty enlightened and glad that we're starting an ongoing dialogue with with Geauga Public Health, and they're answering all of our questions. So I'll keep you in the loop on that. Thank you.
Appreciate that. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Diane Jones. I see that you were handed another document. It's an addendum, and it's the addendum to the one of the two agreements between Geauga County Board of Commissioners and Lake Tran. And, yeah,
That's the addendum that they approved last week.
That's the addendum from last week.
It is the addendum from last week that was approved. It's down in the basket. The motion letter is actually on the top from the 11th. They missed signing it in the stack of piles that went down. So I just
Okay.
asked them to sign it this morning because it was missed last week.
and at that time, it will become public comment
Yep.
for all.
Yep.
And public, request for public
Yep.
information. Thank you for that
That is the
information.
last piece of your request.
Thank you.
I figured you were gonna want the one that was signed, because otherwise if I gave you one that wasn't, you would ask me for the one that was signed,
You're right,
so.
you're right. I would have questioned it, and will, yes.
Correct.
Thank you.
Well, I have a comment on Geauga Transit. Last week, we were notified that from the auditor's office, anytime there's a partnership, the auditor's office looks at the agreement and the financials. May it come to our attention that on December 12th of 2019, we gave Geauga Transit $275,000, and they've been paying quarterly payments back to us, $4,583.33. So I'm glad that Jerry has a microphone today because you have a soft voice, and you probably brought that up on your little report at the beginning of the meeting back in December, but $275,000 is a lot of money. And Geauga Transit, as commissioners, we've always tried to help every department, whatever their needs are. They need money to operate. Most of the time, there's a reimbursement program of 62%. Sometimes it's 100%, depends on state or federal grants and things like that. But I did talk to, so far, it's down to $205,000, the money that we allowed them to have in 2019. I talked to Lake Tran Ben. He said that he'd like to, we're still in the process of the partnership, that he doesn't really need the money. He'd rather start with a clean slate. And so, my voice is, I want that $205,000 back, and that's my 2 cents.
So when you talked to him, what did he give you any indication as far as some cooperation of being able to do that?
Yes, and our administrator could contact Ben, and Ben will reiterate what I just said. So it's something that, Geauga Transit's always been in need of operating money because they have to pay for something and they get reimbursed back from the state or the federal government.
Right.
So it's a system that you really have to keep track of.
You gotta put some infusion in it to get it going.
Right. But Ben from Lake Tran says, I'd rather start with a clean break with this partnership, and you guys can go ahead and keep your $205,000. So I'm comfortable with what Ben said, but please clarify that with Lake Tran, and be saving the county $205,000.
I will clarify that with Lake Tran, and Laura was on vacation last week, so I didn't bring up this whole issue with her. I didn't get a chance to talk to her yesterday, so we'll get it for today or tomorrow.
That's good.
Yeah, a comment to that, right within the interagency agreement, the contract, it says that Lake Tran will not bear any responsibility for any previous encumbrances or, you've got it in writing. Are you going to ask for that statement in writing then? Is that the addendum that you
I think
are
what you
signing?
just said blends in with what my request is, to just clear up the books financially, and we would get a approximately $205,000 back because I already paid $70,000 back since 19, so.
Okay, is there a time limit on that?
Well, I would think that, isn't it extended to September sometime?
Yeah, the addendum was extended paying the county providing the funds till September. So what?
All right, that's
what
90 days?
What we'll probably do with this, just thinking of it through, I'm not saying this is what happened, because I haven't talked to the, I haven't talked to the
Sorry, Jerry,
prosecutor's
you gotta
office yet.
speak up for us. One more time.
Microphone, please.
Yeah, great solution, thank you.
They have a tendency to stop, like it stops working.
See if that works. Okay, well, this was working earlier. But, you know, what we probably end up doing with that is that when we transfer the money from Geauga County to Lake Tran, it will just not include that 200.
I thought that happened
That
already
would
as
then
of
be-
July
that would
1st.
then be transferred. Well, that's what the addendum did, it extended that till
And
September.
extended to
That's
September.
what I was just telling you.
Okay.
When you get your copy, Diane, you'll see the.
Thank you, I'll appreciate analyzing that. Thank you very much.
All right, anyone else?
Yes, Gail Rusi, League of Women Voters. So on item number 15, there was a partial payment number 29. And just clarifying, I'm not sure why I keep getting confused on these different projects for Donnelly's, but that amount is number 1 and number 2 for this building?
Yes, it's
Okay.
this building.
So for punch list,
Trying to finalizing all the punch list items and whatever contract, whatever, some of this retainage that was held back over time.
and there's still punch list items to go?
There's still a handful of punch list items to be done, and then as well as the overall retainage from the contract.
I'm sorry, I don't understand.
With each payment that's made during any construction project, there's a portion of it, usually around 4 or 5%, that's held back as the retainage in the contract, so that at the end of the project, once everything is done and complete, then you release the retainage to the contractor.
Okay, so that would be done as a separate matter?
Yes.
Thank you.
According to this, there's about $275,000 of retainage left.
That, motion to adjourn?
What time is it?
Yeah, is this 23 or?
24,
24.
just projections, yeah.
Okay. Do you have 23 or 22?
I can get you that, 23 is a little skewed, because we get all of our food revenue money up front, so
Yeah.
it's gonna look, the revenue looks inflated, because we don't get any for the rest of the year. But I can get you 22, I bring it over to your office.
Yeah, whenever.